I'm not sure if anyone here watches or has watched The Simpsons. This cartoon of four-fingered characters, they've been offering up laughs and social commentary for the past 33 years. Back in season 12, episode 19, just after the theme song ends, do, 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 do. You know that one, right? Just after that song ends, and the opening credits are still running, there is a beige church with red, pink, and orange stained glass windows, and there's a banner on that church, and it reads, Ice Cream Social, a sundae you can swallow. The second sundae is AE, like the dessert. Bart, the troublemaking, underachieving Simpson boy, has his hair unspiked and Sunday clothes on and says, ice cream at church? I'm intrigued and yet suspicious. Then there is a bird's eye view of the field next to the First Church of Springfield, where everyone is outside enjoying ice cream. Reverend Lovejoy, the fictional Western branch of American Reformed Presbyterianism minister, has an apron on and is serving ice cream. There is a sign in front of the cherries, whipped cream, and fudge that reads, Crucifixens. Lisa Simpson, the bookish NPR listening introspective overachiever, approaches Reverend Lovejoy with her brother Bart and notices all the different flavors of ice cream that are not identified in the usual way. Wow, look at all these flavors, she says. Blessed Virgin Berry, Commandment, Bible Gum. The Reverend Lovejoy, presumably knowing Lisa's theological leanings, says, or if you prefer, we also have Unitarian ice cream. He hands Lisa a white bowl, and she takes it. There's nothing here, Lisa exclaims. Exactly, Reverend Lovejoy responds. Now, as far as I can tell, the cartoon is making fun of our non-creedal way of being religious. Though one might make the argument that our flavor really is rainbow sherbet. Or you could argue that we are not empty, but we offer up a rich diversity of theological flavors. But for today, let's not fight it, and let's accept this pop cultural gift at its face value. Let's say we are the church of the empty ice cream bowl. After all, our main symbol, the chalice, is mostly empty. At least this one is only flaming for 1 hour each week. And even when it is lit, there is still plenty of other empty space in there. In another sense, our chalice is empty because it is not full of body or blood, nor any static or stagnant doctrine. The emptiness of our chalice is very clear for us to observe. The emptiness in our faith tradition leaves our central symbol, the chalice, up to many different interpretations. The open emptiness we offer here is healthier than any sweet fullness. The Tao Te Ching points out that the most important part of a house is not the walls or the windows, but it is the empty space within. It is the empty space within that potentially becomes a home. Emptiness is therefore needed, useful, and valuable. The Tao Te Ching often brings up opposites to show how they are related. Structures and vessels were created to hold something beyond themselves. Cups for coffee, glasses for water and wine, jars for pickles, and chalices for fire. In the emptiness, we find the flame of peace. Now, some of you might be thinking, emptiness cannot be the goal of our religion. After all, if you empty out all the toothpaste out of the tube, how do you get it back in? Emptying in this Taoist sense, we are letting things go. We are saying less is more, and simplicity is good. By emptying of all the stiffness of fear, our true harmonious nature is recognized once again. We observe observations, we feel feelings, and remain at peace. As we experience the trauma and stress of this long-lasting pandemic, we can let things be and let peace remain. We can empty ourselves of stress, guilt, and the harmful negative narratives we repeat in our minds, and be open to that inclusive space of love. Now, our consumer-driven world associates being full as better than being empty. After all, which glass would you prefer? Which stomach would you prefer? The open one, or, the empty one, or the full one? We sometimes say, I'm empty or hollow, which are not necessarily good things to be. There is something qualitatively healthier, I think, about being empty. The Tao Te Ching speaks of the center, the whole of the wheel, which makes it useful for vehicular travel. The emptiness of the clay vessel is able to hold and store and preserve and carry contents much more valuable than itself. Purpose comes from the emptiness. I invite you now to focus your attention now on our chalice in the sanctuary. Notice its silvery form. It is made of pewter, an alloy that's mostly tin. From the bottom stem underneath, we know that it was handmade in New Hampshire by Kingswood Pewter and is engraved M.H. Brackett, 1987. Now there is a bit of a mystery here. I asked around, I'm not sure, I didn't dig that deep, but I don't know what that means, and I don't know if it's from the 19th century and maybe it was just given to us in 1987. Was it perhaps used for communion wafers long ago? I don't know. Perhaps in the 1980s, the Unitarian Service Committee gave this to us or sold this pewter chalice to us. I have no idea. I don't know. If anyone does know, I'd love to hear the story. But indeed, there is a mysterious depth to our main symbol and ritual. Inside the chalice are drips of wax and small bits of ash, dark flakes from the wick. It is scratched up, bruised, and not level. but it is full of purpose. It is not fancy. It's not designed by some famous artist. It is functional and simple. But notice also the large circumference of its rim and its roomy space. Notice its openness, its inclusivity. It holds many roads of the spiritual journey. The emptiness of a non-creedal faith always will. It holds a very big spaciousness. This humble structure contains within it something of ultimate importance, a simple small glass jar of fuel with a wick. It is the empty space within that is open to the unity of the flame. What would it be without its emptiness? We are the 30-spoked wheel. We are the clay pots. We are the walls and windows of a house. And it is not so much the materials of carbon and water of our bodies which give us our usefulness. It is the invisible center within that gives us our purpose. When the self becomes empty, we can then move freely. In the emptiness, we find the flame of life. Led by the values of a workaholic society, it's only natural that sometimes we do the opposite. We fill ourselves up with things, and not just the baked goods of the holiday season. Our egos lead our lives and control our calendars, and we can be filled up. We assume sometimes that a full bowl is much better than an empty one. But it is in the emptiness that there is a productive subtraction. In the center, there is an effortless action. It is good to take our egos offline from time to time so the self can expand. Neuroscientists know that in meditation and in other religious experiences, the boundaries of the self can be relaxed. We can experience a oneness with a reality beyond what we normally call the self. This is the fire found in an empty chalice. So perhaps Reverend Lovejoy was correct. We are the church of the empty bowl. Together, collectively, we let go of stress, anxiety, and tension, and live anew in the fire of one flame. So rise up, O inner flame. May it show us the joy of the shared journey. Allow us to express our true nature and be the shape of peace that we are meant to be. In the darkness of subtraction, in the stillness, there is a sacred light within that sets us free from fear. While our chalices, our sanctuary's chalice remains empty throughout the week, we carry that flame of commitment with us, serving others and demanding a deeper justice in our world. We might be bruised. We might be unbalanced. We might be unlevel. But in the inclusive, empty, simple center within, we burn bright. May it be so.